Fantasia Fest is here, and there are some incredible films that are playing at the festival. This is not as prominent a festival as something like Sundance or TIFF, but it is one of the best film festivals in North America. In fact, Quentin Tarantino has been quoted as saying that it is the most important and prestigious genre film festival on the continent, and other filmmakers like Guillermo del Toro has said that Fantasia is a shrine. It is, again, often overlooked, but has some incredible films and filmmakers. This is the 28th edition of the festival, and I'm going to quickly run through 5 of the top films playing this year. Number 5, we have Chainsaws Worth Singing.
ja justkui sa arvad, et elu on jälle ilus, tuleb metsast mingi tugev mootorsaeg.
This film looks so absurd that it is almost destined for cult status at some point. It comes from Estonian director Sander Meren, who shot this film in 2013, spent 10 years in post-production, just a casual decade until finally getting its release this year. It has played at one festival previous to Fantasia, where it won the Audience Choice Award, and I would not be shocked if it did the same here. Essentially, it is a musical comedy horror. The director has described it as Monty Python meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Les Miserables. So it is going to be a wild ride. It is, as mentioned, funny. It's a slasher, it's a romance, it's a musical, it's everything that you could want. Essentially, the very basic plot is that 2 lovers are separated by a chainsaw killer. This one will make it to some streaming platform, somewhere maybe Shudder, and it will be loved by many. Number 4, we have In Our Blood.
What? I can't.
This film comes from Oscar-nominated director Pedro Kos in a film that is quite a bit different than the project he was nominated for. Essentially, his Oscar-nominated film was a documentary short titled Lead Me Home, which followed a group of homeless individuals on the west coast of the United States. This film is a feature film and is a narrative feature, so a little bit different than a documentary short. That being said, Kos uses his experience as a documentarian within the plot, within the narrative of this feature. It stars Brittany O'Grady from White Lotus and Alana Ubach from Euphoria in a found footage style horror film. Essentially, we follow O'Grady as she tries to make amends with her mother, played by Ubach, as she was taken away from her mother at a young age due to her mother's addiction. From early reviews of the film, it seems to be scary, yes, in the horror genre, but also exploring the real-life horrors of addiction. It has this indie doc feel, obviously making sense coming from the filmmaker, but he's able to weave that style into a cohesive horror film. A hit for sure within that indie horror genre. Number 3, we have 4 p.m.
What's good?
4 p.m. is directed by Jae Song and stars the wonderful, the amazing Odell Soo, who is most known for his role in the wonderful film Old Boy, of course directed by Park Chan-wook. Essentially, in 4 p.m., we follow a couple as they kind of escape from the craziness of their city life and move to the countryside. Upon moving, they are greeted by their neighbor at 4 p.m. every single day, and he leaves at 6 p.m. every single day. As the story unfolds, they begin to, of course, learn a little bit more about this individual and why he comes to their countryside home every day at the same time. Tense psychological thriller, again led by an amazing actor in O Dalsu. Number 2, we have Bookworm.
Hunting. Fishing.
Look at this great big bugger!
You know, stuff of adventures.
You don't
Talk like a normal child.
I know.
Hello.
This film comes from New Zealand director Ant Timpson and stars Elijah Wood. Of course, we all know Elijah Wood, alongside a rising star in Nell Fisher. Nell Fisher was in the most recent Evil Dead film and has been slated for a role in the most recent season of Stranger Things, so she's a young actress to keep an eye on. Essentially, this film from Timpson follows Wood's character as a kind of failing magician coming back to see his daughter for the first time. He abandoned her before her birth, but he has returned to take her into the wilderness to search for a mythical beast, and for one reason or another, his daughter agrees to go along. It is essentially an absurdist comedy, so it requires a certain kind of buy-in to the humor, but if you can get behind that style, it's worth watching for sure, with this cast, including, as I mentioned, rising star in Nell Fisher. And last, but certainly not least, we have Shelby Oaks.
Shelby Oaks is a horror film about missing paranormal investigators who were very active in the YouTube sphere around the mid-2000s when the platform first launched. The film explores the dark legacy that group uncovered and how it has ever-reaching effects, even 12 years into the future, as the lead paranormal investigator, Riley, is desperately searched for by her older sister, Mia.
This is a pretty amazing story. It comes from director Chris Stuckmann, who is the one kind of film reviewer on YouTube that I have consistently watched for years. Not to dish out too much hate to everyone on this wonderful platform, but a lot of folks with a lot of subscribers don't seem to A, even love movies, and B, don't really give any sort of real insight into the films that they watch. They just put out quote-unquote content, hate that word, and go about their day. Chris Stuckmann is someone who, every time he talks about a movie, you can tell how much he loves cinema. And that's why I've always loved watching him. I've followed his story as he announced on YouTube that he was going to make his first feature film. I followed along as he launched his Kickstarter to support this film, which was tremendously successful. And just this week, I was following along when he announced that Shelby Oaks, his first debut feature film with a theatrical release, has been acquired by Neon, one of the greatest independent film distributors in the world right now, certainly in the United States. And as mentioned, I'm covering Fantasia Fest and was hoping to chat with Chris, but unfortunately Neon has said that they will only be chatting with American outlets, even though the festival is in Canada. But that's an aside. I'm so happy to see someone with a clear passion for film bringing their kind of dreams to life. Essentially, Shelby Oaks follows the story of a paranormal YouTuber. I know, a bit corny coming from a YouTuber, but it follows her as she disappears and her friends and family go searching for her. Obviously, they uncover many things that are creepy and eerie and strange, and I am so excited to watch this film. I imagine that many of you are aware of Chris Stuckmann, and he is a perfect example of why you should never give up on your dreams. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you can catch some films at Fantasia if you're in Montreal, small chance, but if not, when some of these pictures get wider releases or are available online. Do the like thing, comment thing, subscribe thing, all very helpful to me as a person. Appreciate it. Watch the next one. Thank you.